Let me paint the scene for you. It's a Wednesday. One of those soul-sucking, fluorescent lit kind. I'm sitting in the break room of the consulting firm where I've been bleeding my soul into financial strategies for the past 7 years. I'm vice president now, well-respected, maybe even feared a little. I run a department, hit every target, and manage a team of 23 analysts, half of whom still ask if I want coffee every morning. And yes, I work with my husband. Or rather, worked. Ethan and I have been married for 10 years. We met in grad school over a shared hatred of microeconomics and a mutual love of tequila. Back then, he had this disarming smile, sharp wit, and the kind of eyes that could talk you into trouble. And me? I was the overachiever in heels. We were that power couple people post about on LinkedIn and envy over awkward team dinners. And then there's Natalie, my boss, the executive director of our firm. She's elegant, accomplished, always in some damn silk blouse that screams, "I'm too important for this meeting." And apparently, she's been banging my husband for 3 years. Yep, my boss, my husband, for 3 years. That's not just betrayal, that's logistics. I didn't find out because he slipped up. Ethan is the kind of man who triple checks his alibis. I found out because Natalie left her iPad unlocked on a shared Zoom call. I know, irony's a bitch. I was prepping for a budget review, screen sharing like a good little VP, when I accidentally clicked over to her Safari tabs. One of them was a Gmail draft, unsent but open. The subject line was, "Last weekend was perfect. I still taste you." I clicked. Of course I clicked. There were dozens of drafts, unsent love notes, explicit messages, plans for weekends out of town under the guise of client development, and every one of them signed with N. He wasn't just cheating, he was in a relationship, with my boss, at my job, for 3 years. I didn't scream. I didn't throw anything. I closed the tab, finished the Zoom call like a damn professional, and went home. That night, I looked at him across the dinner table. He was talking about some stupid golf tournament he had next month with the guys, and I just nodded, smiled, and poured him another glass of wine. Because this wasn't going to be an argument. This wasn't going to be a fight. This was going to be a reckoning. But first, I had to get smart. No emotional scenes, no dramatic confrontations. Just a quiet war, one move at a time. And if you think this ends with me sobbing in a bathtub while Adele plays in the background, oh honey, I'm the one who picks the soundtrack. I started with his calendar, because let's be honest, cheaters are lazy, especially smart ones. They think they're untouchable. They think no one's paying attention. But I was. Oh, I was now. Ethan had shared access to his work calendar with me years ago, back when we thought transparency was romantic and not a survival tactic. I still had access, and like any good wife-turned-investigator, I started cross-referencing. Client dinner, 7 p.m. on his calendar. Market expansion strategy dinner with exec on hers. Same day, same time, same restaurant listed in the private notes section. And that happened a lot, but it wasn't the dinner plans that sealed it. It was the patterns. Weekly one-on-one meetings every Thursday at 4 p.m. in Conference Room B, even though neither of them reported to the other officially. Natalie is 2 rungs above him. She's not mentoring him. She's not developing him. She's developing abs from all the lying cardio they're doing. Meanwhile, I was playing loyal wife, working late, picking up his dry cleaning, scheduling our couples massage for the weekend he was apparently already double booked. So I took my next step. I started building a folder, not a metaphorical one, a real one, labeled Project Glass House. Inside it, screenshots of synced events, Slack messages that looked too casual to anyone else, but now screamed intimacy to me. Emojis, late night "are you still up" messages, Even a "forgot your charger again, my place?" And she replied with a peach emoji and the number 3. 3. As in third time? As in this is a running joke between them? I felt nothing. Just this strange, surgical numbness. The kind that lets you stitch your own wound shut before you start bleeding. I copied everything. Then I made a backup folder on a thumb drive I keep in my bag, labeled it Q2 Budget Review, because if either of them stumbled across it, the last thing they'd do is open a financial forecast. But here's where it gets delicious. Ethan forgot I still had access to our cloud account. You know, the one we use to sync vacation photos and grocery lists. Guess what Natalie uploaded last Valentine's Day? A blurry mirror selfie. His shirtless back, her hand in the frame, holding a glass of champagne. So tasteful. So digital. And that's when I realized this wasn't just a work affair. This was a full-on, multi-year entanglement involving hotel receipts, real estate conferences, and matching Bluetooth speakers. So I added a new tab to my master spreadsheet, because obviously I had a spreadsheet. What am I, an amateur? I labeled it Assets to Weaponize. Ethan's upcoming review cycle? Check. Natalie's pending promotion to regional director? Double check. The fact that both of them violated our firm's workplace policy on fraternization? Oh, sweet karma, come to mama. But I wasn't ready to pull the trigger yet. No. I was going to wait. Watch. Let them get comfortable. Because the moment you think you're safe, that's when I strike. You ever watch a predator toy with its prey? That was me. The quiet calm before a very calculated storm. Natalie and Ethan were still waltzing through the office like their secret was safe, throwing glances over conference tables, brushing shoulders by the espresso machine, laughing just a little too softly during impromptu syncs. Meanwhile, I was setting the stage. Our firm was preparing for the quarterly leadership summit, the one where all department heads present updates and collaboration wins. Natalie, of course, was leading the whole thing. She even had the gall to assign me a section titled Integrity in Leadership. Oh, sweetie. I practically moaned at the irony, so I made a PowerPoint, and I made it sing. But I also made a copy, an alternate version that lived on a separate drive. Same slide structure, same formatting, just with a different ending. See, in the last 5 minutes of our summit, each leader was to present a core value anecdote, something from the past quarter that reflected our team's mission. Natalie was scheduled to go last. I was just before her. And me? I told a story. A story about duality. About how sometimes two people can work side by side and present one version of themselves to the world, while living a completely different truth behind closed doors. And then I said, sometimes integrity isn't just about avoiding the lie. It's about recognizing the ones that wear designer heels and tailored suits. Click. The next slide? A censored screenshot, blurred names but very recognizable message thread. Her initials, his emoji. Her calendar entry titled Client Dinner, cross-referenced with an Uber receipt to the W Hotel. The room froze. Eyes darted. I kept my tone cool, measured. No names, I said. Just a reminder. What you do outside of work affects the people you lead inside of it. You could feel the collective shift in the air. Natalie's jaw, tight enough to crack a diamond. Ethan wasn't even in the room, conveniently working remotely that day. Coward. But it didn't matter. The fuse had been lit. After the summit, Natalie cornered me in the hallway, all fake poise and venom behind her lashes. That anecdote was wildly inappropriate. I tilted my head and smiled. Which part? The part about leadership? Or the part that made you sweat? She blinked, trying to recover. If you have a personal issue, Harper, we can discuss it. Oh, I'm not here to discuss, I cut in, voice low and lethal. I'm here to document. And I've got plenty of documentation, Natalie. Do you want to go over it together? Maybe in HR? She paled. I watched her confidence peel away like cheap laminate. And just like that, the power dynamic shifted. She wasn't my boss anymore. She was my next move. Let me back up a second. After that summit, Natalie did what narcissists do when they lose control. She tried to spin it, sent out a firm-wide Slack message thanking everyone for their engagement and candid reflections. Said my anecdote was thought-provoking. She even scheduled a lunch with me for next week to collaborate on a vision statement. Girl, please. I know a trap when I see one. But what Natalie didn't know was that I was already 3 moves ahead. And Ethan? Oh, Ethan was in for his own kind of reckoning. See, he got sloppy. That same week, I noticed something odd. His notifications stopped popping up on his usual phone. He used to keep it face up on the kitchen counter while we cooked, or while he watched his precious Formula One recaps. Suddenly, it was either in his pocket or face down like it was hiding from God. So naturally, I went looking. And baby, what I found? A second phone, tucked into the pocket of his gym bag under a pair of crusty old socks, like a teenage boy hiding a nudie mag in 1997. It was a burner. No passcode, just unlocked sin and stupidity. First thing I saw was a WhatsApp chat titled N. Disgusting. Inside, hundreds of messages, selfies, meetup plans, and something that stopped me cold. A shared Google Doc titled Timeline. I opened it. It was a freaking blueprint. Their little affair had chapters, phases, plans. Phase 1, keep it quiet, LOL. Phase 2, float the idea of open marriage. Phase 3, if Harper suspects, pin it on stress/work burnout. Phase 4, reassess in Q4, possibly go public post-promotion. Go public? Like they were launching a goddamn startup. Oh, and bonus, there was a tab titled Things to be Careful of, where my name came up 3 times with comments like, Harper has good instincts, stay subtle, and she's not dumb, don't underestimate. At least they got one thing right. I emailed the document to myself, along with screenshots of their entire disgusting thread, including one where Ethan told Natalie he couldn't wait to see her in that red wrap dress again, because it was the one she wore the night he almost told me the truth. Almost. Bless his coward heart. So now I had the receipts, and not just the emotional kind. I had written proof that Ethan and Natalie were conspiring, not just cheating, but coordinating a cover-up. And when you're in a leadership position at a multi-million-dollar firm, that's not just HR material. That's policy violation material. But I wasn't ready to take it to HR. Not yet. First, I wanted Ethan to know that I knew. I wanted to see it on his face. That moment where someone realizes they're not the puppet master. They're the dumbass dancing with strings wrapped around their own throat. So I made dinner. Candlelight, wine, his favorite garlic bread. I wore the black dress he always liked, played our cooking playlist. He walked in, eyebrows lifted in surprise. "What's the occasion?" he asked. I smiled. "You'll see." He sat, dug in, relaxed. Midway through his second glass of wine, I reached into my purse and pulled out the burner phone. Placed it on the table. Didn't say a word. His fork froze mid-bite. Eyes locked on it like it was a live grenade. I leaned in, tilted my head. "You forgot to turn off location services," I said softly. "And your timelines? Too ambitious. Q4 was optimistic." His mouth opened, but nothing came out. I stood up, grabbed my wine, and walked toward the patio. Turned back just long enough to say, "Finish your dinner, Ethan. You'll need the strength. It's about to get really public." You know what I love about HR? They never see it coming when the woman who's always been professional, poised, and a team player walks into their office with a manila envelope and a quiet smile. They brace for a wellness check-in or a PTO request, not an evidence drop. I scheduled a meeting with Cynthia, our HR director and the firm's unofficial keeper of secrets. She's been there forever, knows where the bodies are buried, and always wears a pin shaped like a dove. Peaceful energy. Too bad I brought a storm. We sat down. I handed her the envelope and said, "This is going to be a lot, so I'll give you a moment." Inside, everything. The WhatsApp screenshots, the hotel receipts, the timeline document, the Google Calendar inconsistencies, my annotated spreadsheet. I even color-coded the entries for dramatic effect. Green for meetings, red for lies, gold for the really bold ones. And the pièce de résistance? A printed Slack exchange between Ethan and Natalie that casually referenced keeping Harper in the dark. Cynthia flipped through it slowly, her lips pressing into a thin line. "I assume you understand how serious this is," she said finally, without looking up.
"Oh, I'm counting on it."
Because here's the thing. Natalie and Ethan's relationship wasn't just unethical. It was explicitly against company policy. Natalie was technically a supervising executive over Ethan's department, which meant any personal relationship between them needed to be disclosed immediately. Failure to do so wasn't just frowned upon, it was grounds for termination. Even better, the fact that Natalie's pending promotion had been largely based on her leadership performance and culture integrity. Turns out that whole female exec who mentors up-and-coming talent narrative doesn't look so cute when you're also banging your subordinate behind your VP's back. Cynthia asked for time to review the documents. I nodded, stood, and before I left, I said, "Oh, and one more thing. I'm willing to keep this internal. No press, no legal drama, no LinkedIn call-out post." She looked relieved. I leaned in. But only if Natalie steps down and Ethan resigns, quietly, with no severance. Cynthia blinked. "That's bold." "Not as bold as cheating with your subordinate's husband for 3 years and thinking no one would notice." I walked out and left her with the bomb still ticking in her hands. But I didn't stop there. I posted a little something on LinkedIn later that night. Nothing explicit, just a graceful power move. Integrity is doing the right thing even when no one's watching. But when someone is, it becomes accountability. Grateful for the lessons this quarter, excited for what's next. #leadership, #women in business, #accountability matters. It blew up. Likes, shares, DMs from coworkers who smelled smoke but never saw the fire. One junior analyst even commented, "Did something happen?" And I just replied with a smiley face and a winking emoji. Natalie didn't show up the next morning. Ethan stayed home sick. By noon, a company-wide email went out. Natalie was stepping down to pursue other opportunities. Ethan's name disappeared from the org chart 2 days later. They didn't even get a goodbye party, just erased like bad data from the CRM. And me? I got promoted. Effective immediately, I became the interim department lead for strategy and development, pending board approval, which, spoiler alert, came within the week. Funny how quickly doors open when you burn the right ones down first. I should have known Ethan wouldn't go quietly. 2 weeks after his resignation, I got a letter from his lawyer. His lawyer. Not a text, not a call, a cease and desist for defamation of character, citing my LinkedIn post and coordinated professional sabotage. I nearly choked on my oat milk latte. The audacity of this man to cheat on me, get caught, lose his job, and then try to sue me for the fallout? I laughed so hard I scared my cat. But this wasn't just a tantrum. This was a strategy. He wanted leverage. He knew I'd filed for divorce. He wanted to scare me, to slow things down, to maybe, just maybe, get a piece of my new salary, or make me back down before I pushed for spousal misconduct penalties. He forgot who he was married to. My attorney, Camille, a woman who wears all black and calls bullshit like she invented the word, sent back a response that was one sentence long. We look forward to presenting the court with Miss Harper's full documentation regarding your client's extramarital relationship with his superior at his workplace. Nothing says checkmate like corporate emails printed on letterhead. Ethan backed off. For about a week. Then he tried to come crawling back. Not romantically, that would have been laughable, but logistically. He emailed me with some weak, "we should talk about what's next" nonsense. Said he'd been thinking, that maybe we didn't need lawyers, that we could work something out. Translation? He realized he was losing everything. Our condo, in my name. The joint account, closed. His career, toasted like a stale bagel. Natalie, rumor had it she'd fled to a wellness retreat in Arizona after a stress-related leave. Meanwhile, I was thriving. So I replied to Ethan with a single line. "What's next is court. See you there." The email came while I was asleep. Subject line, "You win." I opened it the next morning, half asleep, expecting a weak apology or a last-ditch attempt to save face. But no, Natalie had decided to implode in writing. She spilled everything, and I mean everything. Paragraphs of justification, self-pity, and delusion. But buried in the middle? Gold. "I never meant to hurt you. Ethan said your marriage was already over. He told me you were just roommates at that point, that you cheated first, that you didn't love him anymore." She was trying to absolve herself, painting herself as the victim. But in doing so, she documented his manipulation, in her own words, which, to a divorce lawyer, is like Christmas, Hanukkah, and a tax refund in one. I forwarded it to Camille immediately. She wrote back, "That's enough to secure fault-based terms. We're adding it to the filing." I didn't reply to Natalie. Didn't need to. She'd already hung herself with her own Wi-Fi. But I wasn't done. I sent a single email, blind copied to 3 executive board members and the ethics officer. Subject: documentation regarding employee policy violations. Final addendum. No flair, just facts. Screenshots, calendar logs, Slack threads. The 2:13 a.m. confession. By Friday, the whispers had turned into thunder. HR issued a formal memo. Not just about inappropriate conduct, but an upcoming internal investigation into how a senior exec fostered an unethical workplace relationship and attempted retaliation. Retaliation? That was new. Turns out Natalie tried to block a promotion for a junior analyst, who she suspected was too close to Ethan. God, they were messy. And now, the company had to clean it up, publicly. Natalie was officially terminated by Monday. No press release, no thank you email, just poof. Gone. I didn't respond to Ethan's next email. I didn't need to. I already had the ending I wanted, and the receipts to prove it. The courtroom wasn't dramatic. No grand marble columns or echoing chambers, just beige walls, tired fluorescent lights, and a judge who looked like she'd seen every brand of betrayal. Ethan walked in wearing a gray suit that suddenly looked too big for him, like his confidence had lost weight. I didn't flinch. Camille had prepped me for everything. But what Ethan didn't expect? The witness list. First up, Maya, our firm's executive assistant, a woman who remembers everything and has zero patience for bullshit. She testified about scheduling Ethan and Natalie's off-site meetings, including a company-paid weekend in Napa labeled as a client retreat, when the client they allegedly met with was actually in Tokyo. Oops. Next, Jordan from IT. Quiet, kind, unassuming. He confirmed that Natalie's company laptop had accessed my private HR file 3 times from her home IP address. That little stunt? A clear violation of privacy laws. Then came me. I spoke clearly, firmly. No tears, no shaky voice, just facts. I told the judge how I discovered the affair, how they coordinated lies using company resources, how Ethan gaslit me while using our shared finances to book hotel rooms for his strategy sessions. Camille dropped the 2:13 a.m. email into evidence like a mic on a stage. Ethan's lawyer tried to object. The judge shut him down. When it was over, Ethan couldn't even look at me. The judge asked if I had anything else to add. I stood up, looked directly at Ethan, and said, "I didn't come here for revenge. I came for clarity, and I got it, in full resolution." Camille rested her hand on mine. Ethan's face? Blank. Like someone who finally realized the storm he caused wasn't just passing through, it was here to stay. The judge didn't hesitate. Final ruling. Ethan forfeited any claim to spousal support. I retained the condo, our joint assets, and, per Camille's brilliant argument, he was ordered to cover half my legal fees due to demonstrated misconduct leading to marital dissolution. Translation: he paid me to leave him. But I didn't gloat. I didn't post a smug selfie, no cryptic quotes, no "new chapter" caption on Instagram. Instead, I packed up the last box of his things, left it in the lobby of his new sublease, a soulless apartment downtown with peeling paint and no furniture but a mattress and a folding chair, and walked away without a word. I left something inside the box, though. A printed photo of us. One of those old couples trip shots from Mexico. We looked happy, real, young. I'd circled a date on the back. The day you could have told the truth. That was it. No signature, no dramatic goodbye, just that quiet reminder of what he'd thrown away. For nothing more than stolen hotel nights and ego-stroking compliments from a woman who had to lie to keep him. The next week, I got a text from a mutual friend. Ethan's been let go from the startup he joined. Word got around. Poor baby. Natalie? Last I heard, she's freelancing. The consulting world has a long memory and no tolerance for liabilities with scandals attached. And me? I sleep. Like, really sleep. Deep, clean, uninterrupted. My home feels lighter. My air feels clearer. Sometimes, the sharpest revenge isn't destruction. It's absence. People always ask, "Don't you miss him?" I do, but not the way they think. Let me tell you how the final piece of my revenge was the life I built after him, one he'll never touch. Do I miss him? Sure. The way you miss your favorite sweater after finding out it's full of moth holes. There's a kind of sadness in realizing something you loved wasn't built to last. But no, I don't miss him. I miss the idea of him. And even that, barely. It's been 6 months. I moved into a loft that gets morning sun and silence, 2 things I never had with Ethan. I take solo walks to the cafe where I write in a leather-bound journal and flirt shamelessly with the barista who calls me Killer. He doesn't know why, he just feels it. I started traveling again, alone, on purpose. Morocco, Tokyo, Vienna. I book the window seat, order champagne, and don't ask anyone what they want to eat. And work? Promoted. Again. I now sit in the office Natalie used to call her throne. I changed the layout, added plants, took down the glass whiteboard that once listed Q4 synergy goals, and replaced it with a painting of a single black chess queen. Let's be clear, I never needed revenge to survive. but I needed it to reclaim myself, to remind me that composure isn't weakness, that silence isn't surrender, and that walking away doesn't mean you lost. It means you chose peace over performance. Ethan sent me a message last week. I miss you sometimes. I hope you're doing okay. I left him on red. Because I'm not just okay. I'm free. And that's the kind of revenge they don't make movies about. But they should.